Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Gassan. I'm part of the UUEIS team. Thank you so much, Mr. Murad. It's all yours.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. I assume that most of you know me, so I don't feel to introduce myself. In the meantime, if you have any question, you can ask at the end of the seminar, please. So I would like to start with this effect and effect because they are very much confused in English language. So let me make a clarification about them. Effect, the one with an A, means impact of something, influence of something on something else. On the other hand, the term effect with an E means result of something. So as a result, this happened. In psychology, we generally use the effect with an A because we would like to consider the impact of something on something else or influence of something on something else. So therefore, our question today is the effect of our thoughts on our mental health. So this question is rather narrowly considered in our society. I would like to say, especially in our society, the healthcare professionals are considering this question from a narrow perspective. They are considering from the clinical perspective, mainly about the therapeutic effects of it. So that's kind of narrowing it. In fact, I have to say that this question is considered in cognitive psychology. In cognitive psychology, we have a very demanding topic, which we call brain-mind experience. And I think if we consider this from different perspectives, we will have a more multidisciplinary approach. Because I would like to show you what we don't know. I think as future scientists, you should understand that what we don't know is more important. So I would like to show you a part of this topic that we don't consider very much in our society, and that is the brain-mind experience or brain-mind problem. The origin of this question, brain-mind problem, is coming from philosophy, and the philosophers were considering it as body-mind problem. So you may ask, what is the problem? On one hand, we have body, which is something tangible. We can touch it, we can feel it, we can do lots of things with it. We know where it is located. On the other hand, we have a mind. We don't know where it is. We cannot touch to it. However, we know that there is a connection between them. So of course, philosophers came up with different kind of explanations for this issue. But on the other hand, I have to say that philosophers do not need to prove anything. They don't have any concern about proving something. Scientists do. As science evolved together with psychology, psychologists get this question and converted it into brain-mind problem. Now, what is the problem? In one hand, we have a tangible organ, brain. We can touch to it. We can collect data from it, and we can measure it. It is measurable. We have gold standard measurement devices to collect data from the brain, such as EEG, fMRI, CAT scan, PET scan. These are gold standard measurement devices in which we can use and get the area of a certain brain region, for example. Also, activity of certain brain region or certain brain processing, such as we can tell which group of neurons are exciting when we do a certain task and which group of neurons are inhibited when we do a certain task. So therefore, brain is objective. On the other hand, we have mind. We cannot see where it is. We cannot locate it. It is not tangible. we cannot touch to it, we cannot collect data out of it. At least I can say that from the times of when the science is as a whole, science is evolving, we didn't have any ways of measuring the mind. Nowadays, we do, I have to say, we do, but they are not gold standard measurement tools. For example, we have psychological inventories, such as inventories to measure some psychological constructs, such as anxiety, depression, well-being, happiness, curiosity. These kind of psychological constructs are measured and assessed by using psychological inventories. However, these are not gold standard measurement devices, I have to say, because they are somehow limited. Of course, I will not delve into those limitations because I don't want to use technical terms in a seminar like this. But let me put it this way. We don't have a device such as an fMRI that shows us whether or not somebody has depression. Let's keep it this way. So why am I telling you these? I would like to show you the difference between body or brain and mind. And I would like to show you actually the dilemma of this connection, because we know that there is a connection. The best example of this connection is psychosomatic disorders, guys. We know that some people have physical pain, such as headache, backache, neck ache, stomach ache, shoulder, arm pains, and they go to a doctor. The doctors run all the diagnostics. They cannot find anything. According to the science of pathology, if there is a pain in some part of your body, there should be something dysfunctioning in that area, such as nerve fracture or maybe muscle tear. And the doctors are running all the diagnostics, screening procedures, and they cannot find anything, any pathology. And what do? They refer the patient to a psychiatric center or to a psychologist. And in there, when patients have some kind of therapeutic relationship with the psychologist, the pains go away. So this example alone is enough to prove that there is a connection between body and mind. But what is the problem? The problem is that we don't understand the process of this connection yet very much. We couldn't untangle this yet. And why am I talking about this body-mind problem in this subject? Because I believe if we can find the process of connection between body and mind, that will be a milestone development in healthcare as a whole, not only in mental health care, but healthcare in general. It will be a milestone development because we will know more about the existence of mankind. We will know more about the processing of mankind. So let's delve more into this problem and understand what we don't know. Right now, I'm showing you the easy question of body-mind problem, guys. How do the environmental stimuli reaches to conscious awareness? We call this easy question because we know the answer for this question now. 100 years ago, we didn't know the answer very much, maybe roughly more than 100 years ago. But thanks to neuroscience, today we know the answer for this question. So let's answer this question together because we need that answer for the next coming question. How does the environmental stimuli reaches to consciousness? We know that we have sensory organs, eyes, ears, tongue, right? Skin. And these organs are kind of gateway for external world. They are our gateway we connect to the environment by using these sensory organs. So when there is an environmental stimulus, that stimulus is picked up by our sensory organs, the receptors on our sensory organs, such as the retina in our eyes captures the photon information. In other words, electromagnetic energy. The sound frequency is captured by our ears. And for example, the taste of food is captured by our taste receptors in our tongue. And all of these are transduced into neural impulses so that the brain can do something out of it. Transduction is a specific term, guys, used in physics that implies that conversion of one form of energy into another form. So for example, in the eyes, photon energy is converted into neural impulses. In the ears, the audio, the sound frequency energy is converted into neural impulses. And they go to the appropriate brain regions in the brain. For example, the audio information is processed by temporal lobe. Visual information is processed by occipital lobe. And in that, the higher level processing is occurring. I don't want to get into more technical terms, but now we kind of answered how brain processes the correlates with the consciousness. How does environmental stimuli reaches to conscious awareness, because there are some specific processing regions in the brain, and the information which is transduced or converted into neural impulses in the sensory organs sent to these brain regions, and there the processing information occurs and we see the color of red, for example. We see that somebody is approaching to us or talking to us. We hear that person. So easy question is answering this very much thanks to neuroscience. However, there is also hard question, guys, which remains unanswered still. How does the electrical, I made a typo there, electrical energy turns into subjective feeling? This is the part we should untangle. And this is hard question because we don't have the answer for this yet. We like to understand the world through physical rules, physical laws, such as the one I just mentioned earlier. That's actually the first law of thermodynamics. Energy is not created nor lost. Energy is transduced, in other words, converted from one form to another. And in the explanation for the easy question, we did this. Very good. How about in the brain? Because we have a form of energy in the brain, which we call electrical energy. Our neurons carry small voltages of electricity. That's how they communicate, because at the end of the action potential, they release neurotransmitters. So that electrical energy is flowing all around the brain. Okay, how do I have subjective feeling? Let me underline this, guys. Subjective feeling. Let's first of all understand what is not subjective feeling. Then maybe we can understand better about what subjective feeling is. Imagine this. Just imagine all the people in the world like some kind of food, and again, all the people in the world dislike some other kinds of food. Just imagine it. It is not true, I know, but imagine it. Everybody on earth likes tomatoes. Just imagine this. Everybody. So I'm giving this example from the liking or disliking food. all right? And at the same time, imagine everybody on earth dislikes olives. Do we have subjective feeling for taste? I will say no. We don't have subjective feeling. It is kind of unified for everybody. So now maybe you are understanding better what I meant by subjective feeling, because some people like tomatoes, some people dislike tomatoes. Some people enjoy olives, some people don't like olives. When you see tomato, or when you see some kind of food, when you eat some kind of food, what that makes you feel is something very subjective. Your thought processing and also your emotions is very subjective. It is unique to you. So therefore, the hard question is questioning this. How come the energy in the brain, which is the electrical energy, ends up in my subjective feeling? We don't have any answer for this yet. How does it occur? In other words, let me put it this way. There is some kind of thought processing, which is very subjective for me, and I have emotions when I see some people, for example. But when I see some other people, I don't have those emotions. It is something very unique, produced in my thought processing. So according to the physical rules, first of all, electrical energy, in other words, the energy in the neurons, should be converted into some kind of psychic energy or mental energies. We don't know it yet, so that I will feel that subjective feeling. If you talk to people who are dealing with psychic, they will tell you that there is energy in your thought processing. In science, we couldn't find this energy yet. So whatever they say is not objective, in other words. For example, if you ask them to prove that energy, show me that energy, measure that energy, they cannot do it. So if there is a form of psychic energy, then we should be able to measure it. It should be measurable if it really exists. However, scientifically speaking, we couldn't find any other energy than electrical energy in the brain. So therefore, the hard question remains, how does whatever I am experiencing in the environment turns into my subjective feeling? If we can find the solution for this hard question, then in my opinion, we will mainly solve what is the effects of our thoughts on our mental health. So here, first of all, I wanted to show you something we don't know, guys. Usually scientists who are talking on TV show or mental health professionals, they only consider what we know. They only consider to talk about the things that we know. However, usually in the university, we consider to talk about the things that we don't know the answer yet. So I wanted to give you some futuristic approach for mental health or for health as a whole.